I've got big hopes for GaRpY, but obviously you can never rule out Tox at any length. And I think looking at Twitch chat, I'll pay her my respects and I'll keep an eye out.
I feel like at this level of play, every match becomes hard to predict because this is just where the best players of this tournament come together. So naturally, these kind of matches are probably going to be close. They're going to be hard fought. You're going to have to earn your way into grand finals or the semis, whatever it may be at this stage. But what excites me, because the champion element always does excite me, but these are two players where I think their selection might be quite unpredictable. And it's going to be Corrupted Keep first.
Okay, interesting. Let's see what we're going to get here. Sorlag straight away from Tox. I'm expecting an Anarchy from GaRpY, and that's going to be the first pick. Doomslayer to follow up, definitely within the meta at the moment. I wonder if you'd follow it up with a Nyx right at the end. Slash, quite predictable from Toxic, but I think on Corrupted Keep, we've seen it used to some effect, but you've got to be careful of the geometry of the map and the movement you can have.
Now that is very interesting.
And we are going to get the Nyx at the end as well, but the Visor pick for Toxic. I'm not personally a fan of Visor on Corrupted Keep, but that might be through my own flaws and my own play. I would love to see Toxic put out something really, really good with Visor, get some good rocket traps as well. I'm incredibly curious to see how this is going to play out.
But I feel like when you think about using Visor on Corrupted Keep, one of the greatest strengths for those that may not be aware is that Visor was changed in a patch where now his piercing sight, when he activates his ability, only he now is able to actually hear. The sound file only comes from him, so no one else on the map can hear that piercing sight has been activated. That does mean that Visor can set some really dangerous traps. I know there's not going to be a railgun on this map, but at the same time, it will work fantastically well if Toxic's able to win a fight, keep the piercing sight, pop it on respawn. He might be completely stacked, he might have weapons, catching you on respawn. What are you going to do about it?
The thing is, we've only seen Visor picked, I think, twice. This is the second time, I believe.
Yeah, very little amount.
Picked overall. All right, guys, the music's on. We're getting into Corrupted Keep. Dreamhack Denver 2017, day 2 has started, and it is going to be GaRpY versus Toxic in the dual quarterfinals. Into game we go, and it is GaRpY on the start with Doomslayer and getting over to the heavy first.
Now I think automatically the fact that Doomslayer has got that underratedly high stack, naturally he's going to go somewhat toe-to-toe with Sorlag, but he's still got to be careful if you get caught point blank. And this is the kind of map where those close range encounters are bound to happen.
I think GaRpY needs to get that nail gun straight away, but you're always wary going to that weapon because it's in the corner of the room where you've got no escape route. Never think that you're going to pick up a weapon for free. Yeah,
there are a couple of points in this map where you really don't want to get caught out, and that's one of them. However, GaRpY, access to the rocket launch now, which is, especially seeing as the LG received some changes recently, rocket launch is so much more prominent now.
Oh, looking for a good rocket. I think they're exchanged quite well between the two players. That is going to go for the armor in the favor of Tox. And GaRpY's going to get switch up and take Mega himself. He has found Tox, but some amazing rockets have been landed from him. GaRpY is probably going to have his tail between his legs for a moment. Can he just about get out?
Yeah,
so dangerous.
He's going to be looking to be aggressive here just in case he can catch him off guard. I mean, he's still trying to deny the areas GaRpY's trying to escape, and everywhere he's going, you can see Toxic is slightly behind.
GaRpY's playing with fire at the moment. He's actually going to go towards the armor. It spawns in 1 second. I can't believe he even tried to challenge for it. I think the move back to the Mega is the safe play to make, when now he's at least got a bit of stack that he can defend himself with.
And now he's got a little bit of armor too, which will help him out. Actually quite brave to jump into the acid, willingly taking the damage on top of being brave enough to fight for the heavy to begin with.
It looks like he just wanted sort of full information on exactly what was going on with the heavy, so that he can strategize what he's going to do on the future rotations.
It also allows you to time the pickup too, knowing when exactly is Toxic likely to go for this heavy armor again.
And now it looks like they're going to change back. So GaRpY took the armor right at the beginning, missed it for a couple of rotations, and we'll grab it now. It seems very tentative, slow start. I was expecting to see more fireworks off the beginning, but they've been very wary of each other.
I think some of it might have come down to champion select. Like I think if GaRpY went Anarchy as a first pick, then it may be a little bit more, more of a representation of what we're going to see. But Doomslayer,
certainly right about that, actually. And I think it's a very interesting pick for GaRpY at the beginning, when you normally expect an Anarchy early on as well.
I think he's saving it until later on, I suppose. He can get the Sorlag out of the way first, and then sort of almost like go for that hyper-aggressive play with Anarchy when the slightly squishy champions. I know Vice isn't particularly, but Slash definitely a little bit more so.
Oh wow, he's actually going to be able to get the Mega as well. Tox a bit of aggressive play, but a bit too late. And the thing is, Tox has actually had quite a bit of stack for a while, but he's not tried to instigate anything in particular with GaRpY when he's been in every right to do so lately.
Oh, that's one.
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
That big 100, and then another chunky rocket to boot.
That last one was decent, actually. He's done a lot of damage to Tox at the moment, spamming over on that small armor and trying to get something started. Heavy's up. And GaRpY, I'm going to do, if he's going to try and get both of them here, he might even go for a punch because his Berserk's going to end soon.
Interesting idea. The problem is he's got no more rockets, and that might be a problem trying to fight for the Mega.
Yeah, he needs ammunition. Has he realized, though, that he has no rockets? I think he might have just had a quick glance to
We've seen that. That's been a consistent thing throughout DreamHack. You know, players not being aware of some of the slight ammo changes, some of these weapons, the rocket launcher being a really prominent one.
So down at the bottom here for Tox. GaRpY finds him, and I think he's just about managed to get the position over here for Heavy. Looking for a follow-up. No direct damage from the acid spit.
But he is going to get the ticking damage. It's going to give Toxic a little bit of data as to where GaRpY's likely to be. And there's that other rocket just trying to put himself up. Only had one beforehand. I mean, staying on top of your ammo on this map now has clearly been a very important element now the changes have been made.
We're almost 4 minutes into this first round, and still no blood has really been shared between the two of them.
There's a lot of respect coming out of both these players, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this is how we're going to see every single round play out at all, but I think it's those early stages where you're trying to start building a read on each other, and that's how it's working. Nice, that machine gun damage was absolutely awesome from GaRpY, getting rid of a lot of armor and some of that excess health that he had.
That was a very preemptive acid spit, though, so that's going to be down for quite a while. GaRpY now, if he catches him at point-blank range, the threat of the acid spit is not going to be up for quite a while, you know, at least 30 seconds.
He needs to start thinking about this as well. If there's no acid spit, play against the ability availability. GaRpY should make an aggressive play after this Mega Spawn. He's got to attack it.
I think it would be particularly more inclined. Now he's actually collected the Mega itself. And I think that's why Toxic was not as likely to fight for it, because he didn't have that ability available. Knowing that Doomslayer, with a very impressive stack of his own,
He's got to be careful because Tox had taken a lot of hourglasses and has got his acid spit up. And we're approaching, it's going to be a 1-frag round at this rate. This is great initial damage. And this is really the time for GaRpY to bite. He's done so much at the moment. We've got about 30 health left. He's got the Berserk available. Is he going to try and go in for a hit?
One more punch is all he needs with 3 seconds. He's going to try and keep Toxic behind. We're going into sudden death, which does in fact mean 1 frag is going to decide this round. GaRpY's definitely in control.
He's got to push it. He can't lose this opportunity at the moment. If Tox comes back on this round, that would be a bit of a sort of psychological defeat for GaRpY. Has found him, and this is a horrible place to get stuck in. GaRpY, time to get stuck in.
Catches one, but he needs a little bit more. I think he's really trying to sit there, listen out. Where is Toxic trying to run away? A little bit more trail, and he'll be good. Toxic is in heaps of trouble right now. One more rocket's going to do it. Round 1 on a sudden death. I mean, that was a slow-paced round to the very end, but GaRpY took that moment and ran with it.
No, that was nice from GaRpY in the way that he didn't want to overcommit at any point, and I think he really is trying to control his own aggression and not get over-enthusiastic. But there are definitely some points where he did have control of 2 items and he could push in quite soon. Let's check out. We've got a very early Berserk from GaRpY as he lost out on... Oh, he just gets punched. Is he going to get one more?
Oh, that would have been a huge amount of damage, but a 100 damage rocket will see to that Toxic. Losing Slash in the blink of an eye. 15 seconds in.
That was really nice. And GaRpY with a perfect weapon selection right after landing that rocket, knowing that Toxic was going to be incredibly weak at that point. So a great showing at the start of map 1 for GaRpY.
Toxic was trying to be a little bit aggressive here, trying to even the odds somewhat. He's going to be going in, he's sticking to GaRpY like glue, and a couple of nice rockets will seal that. It's now going to be 1 champion down each.
And you can see now we had such a slow round 1, and it's completely changed in the second round. Both of the players now building their own confidence. We have had an exchange on the big items. GaRpY, though, with the Anarchy, we have not seen him play this yet. See what he's going to do versus a Solag, looking for a mid-air.
Nice. That was fantastic, Rockets. Just waiting until the last minute, because it's going to be kind of hard to hit those mid-airs versus Anarchy. That increased air movement is always going to be a fantastic tool for dodging, but not for Toxic. You know, some of the best aim in the business.
Yeah, definitely just being patient to see what GaRpY was planning with his movement was crucial to succeeding then. And now it is just the Nyx left for GaRpY. Going to run into him at Rockets, and that is going to be Ghost Walk used. And the aggressive play here from GaRpY, actually trying to do some damage, ensure that there's no too persistent controller available for Toxic.
Unfortunately, though, because GaRpY put a foot in the acid spit right before he engaged, it gave Toxic the knowledge that he is right behind you and you have to turn around.
One more tick of damage, and actually GaRpY would have gone down, and the round would have been to Tox.
That would have been a 1.5 minute round, too. Very different to what we saw last time. We did say these rounds are probably likely to be a little bit different from one another.
Well, Tox now back to full natural stack. GaRpY not doing too badly as well himself, trying to land some good rockets. Follow up here with the lightning gun, but Tox not able to get the last bits of damage.
GaRpY's still behind.
Oh, the acid landed, actually. Yep. He needs to find health bubbles.
Normally, you can see Nyx activating Ghost Walk to try and nullify the ticking damage, not only to save yourself from the damage, but just deny them knowing where you are on the map, but wasn't quite able to do it there. GaRpY's had quite a low stack consistently on this Nyx.
I like what GaRpY's been doing, though. At each different range from Toxic, he's always having the right weapon out, either getting good spam with the rockets, using the nail gun, or the machine gun when lightning gun can't do the job for him. The GaRpY's rockets, what's happening to him at the moment? It's been a good direct from Toxic, but he's on 75 health. The LG is going to take him down as well, and it's going to be a champion each. But the thing is, GaRpY is going to be going versus a Visor. LG, not too bad from him, but not overcommitting.
I feel like that was a great start for Toxic as well, spawning right next to the rocket. And still, he used Piercing Sight fresh off the spawn, knowing that GaRpY used the Ghost Walk to initiate and get that frag. If Toxic's able to get a rocket launcher and then catch him with Piercing Sight, that could have been a rush immediately.
Tox hasn't taken the Mega just yet. Does GaRpY actually have his mind on that? I'm not sure he heard Mega getting taken.
I mean, rockets were going off right there.
I can't tell what he heard of the sound cue, but it could be a concern if GaRpY doesn't know what's happening to Mega. Oh, that rocket, the damage is found. He's going to use the Ghost Walk as a direct would have killed him.
He's still going to be able to temporarily fight for this if he wants to, but he's taking a lot of damage to get through. Toxic using that Piercing Sight just to make sure every shot's going to land its mark.
Yeah, armor straight after. There's going to be a few moments for GaRpY to wait for a major. Is he going to be sitting on it? He's been all right with it for the moment, but there's still 20 seconds till that Ghost Walk will be up and ready for him.
Think about it's both like Visor and Doomslayer combined. They have a lot of health. I think that's one thing Toxic's team composition has in general. None of these champions have a particularly low stack. Even Slash, he's got that natural 100 versus GaRpY, who has quite weaker champions.
I'm worried of the way that GaRpY's managing the LG ammunition. Look at the damage he's doing with the machine gun. That is unbelievable. And now he wants to close the gap. He surely knows this is the time. He's got armor and Mega. If he can get himself some lightning gun ammunition, he's going to be looking awesome. Uh-oh, this could be dangerous for Tox. He's even going up. Rocket doesn't do too bad the damage.
Yeah, it's going to be enough for him to stick to him. One more of these rockets might be good enough. Can he land it? He catches it at the very end.
Wow.
2 rounds down for GaRpY.
Now, he's looking pretty hyped at the moment. GaRpY is looking for that 3-0. He was even down at in that round.
It was a very impressive comeback, I think, and it's important that he's able to make those kind of decisions early. When you're down that much, and Toxic had, that was almost a 1.5 minute round, and he survived by the skin of his teeth through that acid tick as well. He somehow clawed his way back into the fight.
Seriously, seriously impressive from him. Well, we're going to be getting the Doomslayer early on, going versus the Slash on this occasion.
There's that Mega. I think everyone heard that one.
GaRpY will need to get over to the LG at some point, but going versus Slash, his thoughts are probably going to be primarily with Rocket and other weapons to take him down. Would like to see him grab a shotgun too at some point. Wow, let's find him, looking for Rockets mid-air. Oh, he's going to find it before he hits the floor. First frag for GaRpY on this crucial round.
And he survived with a speck of health, 12 HP left to fight with. However, a couple of those health bubbles are going to give him the heavy too, so he's going to be a little bit nice to health. You can see Toxic being really aggressive, maybe trying to get some of the acid spit for an early trade-off, but it did work in the last round, but it hasn't quite worked just yet. But he's still around.
GaRpY smells blood at the moment. His rockets are just homing missiles at the moment. And I think Tox feels like he's been controlled out of the map. I really liked what Tox was doing earlier with his aggression on Sorlag, but he's not really being given the space. Gonna follow up mid-air, he can't find it. He's gonna get the frag anyway. 3-0 for GaRpY on map 1.
That just came down to fantastic rockets. When the fights actually took place, GaRpY was just in there. You said it yourself, right? His aiming is not to be underestimated.
Exactly.
Those rockets definitely confirm that.
And Twitch chat, what are you saying right now with that?
We must not react too early.
Okay, yeah, true. I already swallowed my words yesterday. I'm going to have to. Yeah, I'll be cautious. Sorry, Twitch chat. Be nice to me, please.
For now. But if one more map goes down, that's when the smugness comes out.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, I think what do you think sort of Toxic does to recover from that? Because he lost quite dominantly to Vu.
He was playing quite passively. I think there were moments of sparks of brilliance. He's playing well when he was being very aggressive, but he didn't have enough of that. I think he allowed GaRpY to have just too much on the map and wasn't really challenging for damage on the items that you maybe expect in certain places.
I think he looked really strong on the first round as well, because he was having such a good time essentially just cycling around the map and just stacking up consistently and taking the fight when he wanted to take it. But ultimately, when the fights happened, GaRpY just pretty much came off better every single time. I
don't think he got a single frag with Visor as well. He played it twice during that map. I still stand with Visor not being a particularly good pick in Corrupted Keep, but I'd also love to have a chat with the players to see what they think, because I haven't really gotten the sort of wider opinion from the pros. But that's my honest opinion on that. We'll see what happens on the next map. I think that it's going to suit Tox a bit more using Slash on whatever maps that may turn out to be. And we'll see if he maybe turns out to get a scale bearer of some sort.
Now it's going to be Blood Covenant again, so consistently throughout, you know, every different iteration of Quake Champions. When Toxic is down, Blood Covenant tends to be the map that we see coming out next.
Okay, this is a bit more normal. We've got Slash and Nyx, and then Anarchy and Nyx for GaRpY, followed by the Doomslayer. And he's going to go with the Visor as well. I think this is a more viable map for Visor. I'll be curious to see if we can see some more effect from this.
Well, I think the huge thing is going to be that now we're on Blood Covenant, the rail comes into play. And we saw that yesterday from Toxic. The second he was down and decided to go on, it was Blood Covenant first, and it was Runes of Sun after against Vu. The second he had access to a railgun on those kind of maps, it was like a night and day turnaround for how he wanted to approach the game.
I think whoever wins this map is going to be the one who's got the rail more on fire, to be honest. I think both of them are very talented with the rail. I think that Tox is more consistent with it, but the ceiling that GaRpY has, if he is on, is absolutely unbelievable. So it's going to be extremely tough to tell. But I think also the added mobility for Slash on Blood Covenant is going to serve massive amounts for Toxic.
And I think anyone that's watched Toxic stream is already in love with how he plays Slash on this map anyway.
It's beautiful. It's mesmerizing to watch, and I love watching him play. That's something that I'm going to be very keen to see as much of as possible. And GaRpY is going to have to tame that. But the music has come out, guys. It is map 2 between GaRpY and Toxic here in the quarterfinals of DreamHack Denver 2017, the Quake Champions duel. And let's see who we're going to be getting started on over here. It is going to be Tox on the Slash. Our dreams come true.
Here we go. Ooh, had the gauntlet out just in case GaRpY goes around the corner, but he eats a rail for his troubles. I think Doomslayer, he's got an edge on Blood Covenant because the double jump just pretty much allows him to go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. A fantastic champion for this map, keeping that high ground in control.
The mobility is brilliant, and actually that's something that on GaRpY's champion composition, all of them are great at mobility. Toxic, he's got good mobility for 2 of them. Visor's got less of that. He can get a lot of information with his piercing sight, but he's not able to move around the map quite the same way as the rest of the champions in play are.
Yeah, I feel like the piercing sight for Visor is more so about allowing someone to make their move and you sort of punish them accordingly around a corridor, especially now they can't hear it, but here comes a fight. Toxic tries to dedicate towards the rockets. GaRpY, very weak indeed, almost went down there.
His movement is absolutely unbelievable. He's going to drop down in the end looking for some rockets, but we've got a retaliatory fire here from GaRpY, and Toxic is going to have to break away from that.
Toxic opting not to go for the rockets, actually trying to go straight up here instead. He's now got no rockets left to go. He's gonna have to try and get some of those back. It's a very important weapon to have, especially now as the LG is a little bit easier to miss with, I suppose.
Tox going to try and get himself onto the rail at last. Not going to take any damage up there, so that's a big win for Tox, now getting all the weaponry. However, does need a bit of added ammunition for the rockets. Going to find him. Double jump is going to avoid it. And he's going to run right into him. Finds him mid-air and does make that rocket angle a little easier to fire upon.
I feel like that was like a I'll see you in hell moment. Like right before Slash died, she just flipped him off. Like at the exact moment. That was perfect.
Right back in her face.
But I mean, that was fantastic from GaRpY to recognize that the rail was down. He's now going to be stuck during that downtime. What's he going to do? I'm going to get an unchallenged rocket and the damage alone set that up.
Interesting to note that GaRpY still hasn't gone for the lightning gun. Feels that it's not something that he can use to great effect versus the champions Tox has played with yet. What a rail he's landed already. That Nyx is such low HP for a moment, trying to find a vertical rail, but he's got to watch out for the meteors coming from above.
That was a very respectful Ghost Walk as well. Toxic, like, I'm not even going to run the risk. He's not even going to challenge GaRpY's accuracy there. I'm just going to Ghost Walk to eliminate the threat of getting hit entirely.
Yeah. Rail's missing from both players. Got a drop down here from Tox, but he's not quite connecting with the rail just yet. And it's something he's going to need to do. He's going to need to up his aim a little bit more. GaRpY found him, and what a rocket he's landed! That hit, that would have got him the frag and put him a frag away from winning this round.
And then he would have been rewarded with Mega there. Catching a Visor that is behind is that's always going to be one of Visor's weaknesses. And when he gets picked at the end and he's behind, sometimes the piercing sight, I mean, it's just going to show where the guy's going to kill you from.
Problem for GaRpY is, though, since he missed that rail, now the Ghost Walk is back up for Toxic, so he's got that safety net, and he can still make a good play versus GaRpY. However, GaRpY's getting every single big item on the map. As long as he's not too predictable with his routes, this is something that he could hold on to for a little bit of time.
Going in for the Berserk just to instantly put himself out to his max speed. Does manage to collect the Mega, but not before he gets clipped by a rail instead. Toxic, I mean, he's got a respectful stack right here. He's definitely not behind in any way. Has managed to get back into the fight quite impressively.
Whoa. Damage you just found then. Rail would be the end of Toxic. Is Toxic going to try and be aggressive? health bubble, respawned in time for GaRpY, and he's going to be able to move away safely. But that was a squeaky bum time for both players.
Yeah, Toxic actually hung around just for enough time for one rail. If GaRpY actually wanted to risk that rail, he probably could have taken the shot and might have landed it. But I mean, that was a tight angle, right?
Definitely. Well, good job for Toxic, managing to get himself the heavy armor from slowing down GaRpY in that previous engagement. Aggressive Ghost Walk, that's going to be unknown for GaRpY.
The thing is, we're now 1 minute 20 away from this round being over. This clock is now becoming quite a serious threat for Toxic.
I wonder if GaRpY's thinking about that, how he can kill the clock. There's no more armor left for GaRpY, but he's right on the bridge when the heavy spawns. And Tox is missing some rails that you wouldn't expect him to miss.
Particularly on Blood Covenant too. Like, this really is one of his maps for landing these like ridiculously game-changing rails.
And instead of going for the damage there, I would have preferred to see Tox getting the 3 hourglasses above to make sure that Ghost Walk is available, such as now when it would be important.
Oh, definitely. And in this situation now, we're going into like the 1 minute warning. It's basically 45 seconds left of this round. As long as Toxic is behind and not really able to fight without dying, like right here, he had to use that Ghost Walk because that rocket was going to do so much damage. Even if GaRpY didn't chase that down, he has to go and restack. Hang on, 15 health left. He's in huge trouble.
Is GaRpY going to come after this? He's going to try and get the punch working for him? Well, he's got 30 seconds left, so he doesn't need to risk stuff too much.
Yeah, I think he thought about it. He definitely thought about it.
Okay, so now that Mega's gone, Mega will not spawn again before the end of the round, unless we get to sudden death. Heavy will spawn, but he doesn't need to focus on that. We need to see Tox doing something in these 15 seconds. He lands a rail.
He's only got one rail, and that's the only shot he's going to get from range.
Oh, what? He just got jumped on by GaRpY, and now we've got almost 5 seconds to go. Toxic has got pretty much nothing to work with. He's going to have to force his way in, but I think the Ghost Walk's going to end when the round does, and that is GaRpY taking round 1.
Looked like the Ghost Walk sort of reappeared half a second after that round ended. I mean, he kind of had no choice but to go in and try and get some kind of crazy reappear, catch GaRpY off guard.
Or
just didn't work out.
Or something, something unbelievable there.
that was the see you later, mate.
I said the first frag, the only frag.
Well, here we go.
Glad to see Toxo back on the slash and see what he can make of it on this occasion. We saw some amazing movement and plays from him earlier, but unfortunately was not rewarded with a kill. But 15 seconds, cycled all the weapons he needs.
In the blink of an eye, that's the strength of Slash on Blood Covenant. That crouch slide. If you catch it from a really high altitude as well, where she slides for a million years. Oh, surprised that one didn't connect.
He's so close to hitting some of these rails, but he's just not quite getting there. That was a good rocket. GaRpY didn't get much damage, and the speed that he's getting with that plasma trail, easily traversing these gaps.
Yeah, it almost looked a little bit like a bait there. You know, knowing that GaRpY was going to hit that plasma trail, and instead of going through the obvious angle, he's chasing it down with Berserk Mode. Can he follow it through?
And Tox is just like, I'm getting out of here. I know he's got no weapon, so I just want to get to safety as soon as I can. And he's broken away now. Lands a great rail shot.
Absolutely. I think it was really important that he was Slash in that situation, because ultimately Doomslayer's Berserk, it's going to put him at 550 speed. It doesn't really make him faster. It just gives him his max speed earlier. Slash will easily surpass that. So it's very difficult for him to chase her down from range.
He's got his plasma trail back up. Can hear GaRpY trotting around, upper. Oh, look at that, the double jump serving GaRpY nicely. If he can land a rail, then he'll take the first frag once again. Tox is going to break away from this. Oh, look at the pressure over here from GaRpY. Mega is up. Is he going to try and punish him? Oh, wow, the drop. We need to see, I think, a little bit more aggression from Tox. I think he needs to take control of this duel a bit more.
He's got a great situation. He's got that high ground with the rockets. Can he land one more? GaRpY now just needs to get one more rocket. He manages to hit his mark. Toxic back in the fight.
That is so much better. I think Toxic realizing that maybe he's playing too much on the edges of the map. He's going to go down. Armor will get picked up. And GaRpY's got the rockets and just runs right in. Brilliant counter-aggression. Yeah,
it almost looked a little bit like GaRpY was going to sort of, before he got that heavy, walked right into enough LG to get taken out, but it keeps coming down to well-placed rockets, putting you back in the fight straight away.
I think it's almost in some way the mind games of like, I'm not afraid to challenge you in these situations. I know your aim is amazing, but here, check out mine as well.
Exactly, and we did see that in Corrupted Keep. GaRpY has been showing us consistently that he is able to make those crazy shots with both rail now and rocket, but particularly the rocket launcher.
GaRpY's got to break away, no injection, the armor's up, and he's going to just about make it on and evade any of the rail shots. Now, I think he might dash across and try and get the rail.
I think he might need it to go toe-to-toe with Nyx. I mean, the Ghost Walk is down for 30 seconds as well. So if he can catch her off guard, catch one rail, then go in, it's Anarchy, right? He's going to get in the blink of an eye.
Confused about that injection use, to be honest. I'm not sure he needed to use that straight away, but got a bit of a speed boost and maybe would have allowed him to get into a fight quicker had he anticipated Tox being on that upper level.
Knocked off a ledge, but Toxic, he's kind of hitting the terrain quite consistently. You know, he's actually hitting walls quite often with those rails. Oh, the Ghost Walk.
And he's got no injection right now. One shot from Tox. He's going to try to break away and play the rail game a little bit. If Tox gets the machine gun out, it would be fine, but the rail is going to land square between the eyes. And Toxic is one frag away from getting his first round this series.
That was complete patience. That was a hell of a stand-up too.
Yeah.
That was like pretty much like, 5 seconds of constant back and forth, back and forth. Toxic waited for that one moment to land the rail, and he was able to hit his mark quite impressively there.
GaRpY was stuck. He knew that there's no way he can move forward. He was going to get taken down by rockets. His only hope was to dodge and hope that he doesn't select the machine gun.
Yeah.
Or land the rail, of course.
Exactly. If the rail missed, maybe he could escape, but he's sort of stuck in the same situation again, but now he's got Ghost Walk, so he has got that escape mechanism.
He makes sure that he's not railable anymore. Does still need the rail himself, and he's actually going to aggress for it. And he's not got the extra health, so a shot would kill him. Notices that the Ghost Walk's been used. He's got to run away from this. Oh, that is so close.
He had a really nice prediction, but if the rocket was just shot like maybe half a second later, he might have actually connected.
Wow.
But there's Toxic with the high ground again.
And he is now in the series a little bit. He's managed to get his first round. Let's see if he's able to capitalize on this a bit. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit reminiscent of the Vutox series yesterday. Maybe Tox can go all the way back again.
This was the map that did it. It was that change to Blood Covenant. Slash put in so much work. I know right now, though, it's not been 100% Slash. Toxic has been forced to use some of the other champions, but we still haven't seen a huge amount of his visor just yet. Just really hasn't been in that position to use him just yet.
No, we definitely haven't seen a whole lot of it.
That was a really good shot. I wasn't even zoomed in.
Very late pickup of the armor, so we're definitely getting a clear split between the items. I think GaRpY, he wants to try and control everything and get that sort of monster stack that Doomslayer is able to get.
Well, with the Mega soon to spawn, he's going to be able to get half of that. Heavy armor's going to be the next objective.
Looking for a rocket. Oh, the explosion on the side. GaRpY's got to be tremendously careful. Is available for the time being, but has he managed to retain control of the armor?
I feel like GaRpY must have expected that to have not been there because it hadn't spawned. He must have expected it to already have been collected. He pretty much completely ignored it.
Yeah, but maybe he felt if he dropped down for it, then Tox is just waiting there. His stack wasn't that good after all, so it makes sense that he's playing fairly defensively. Great rocket through the choke point.
Yeah, GaRpY's been really playing on those slightly longer rounds. So, I mean, if he can doesn't need to overextend too much. If he can just get a good start, maybe even if it's like, half the round gone, then he gets a frag. He can play defensively for the rest of it.
He's very early for this armor, but Tox is not there for the punish. I would have liked to see Tox just go for some damage, even if it's just, a tiny bit of rocket splash, or miss, even if he misses a rail, just have some presence there.
Problem is trading those rails. If you're going to be Doomslayer and you've got that stack, those trades will be in your favor.
I thought that rocket was going to do a little bit more. 12 damage in the end from that one,
yeah,
but asserting himself.
And there's that double jump. Doomslayer is not really going to be too vulnerable on those jump pads compared to some other champions. You can really sort of alter your jump arc on that consistently. Toxic maybe thought it was going to be higher up, and there we go. 2 fantastic rockets. Let's put GaRpY back in the lead.
He's looking great with his control. I love the way that GaRpY sort of... he's really trying to impose himself on the map a lot more than Tox is. We've got Gauntlet out on the side. Rockets, though. Tox just goes down immediately. He had to get something amazing done through that Ghost Walk, and it just wasn't ready for it.
I wonder if Toxic maybe banked on a telefrag or something, because GaRpY was straight up just not looking behind there. So maybe if he thought he can't see it, I'm just going to stand in there, Gauntlet in case to get a bit more damage, but it just didn't work out at all.
At this stage, you can't go for such risky plays. I mean, if Tox loses 2 of these rounds, then he is out of the tournament. Oh my God, he's going to take him down once more. That is a clean victory on this round. GaRpY is 1 round away from taking himself to the semi-finals, and he is hyped at the moment.
Yeah, you can see how pumped he is. I mean, GaRpY is one of the most emotional players in this scene, but you saw right at the end, Visor, he's really good on this map, but if he's caught in a situation where he's fresh off the spawn, and GaRpY had that much equipment ready, if he gets caught early on spawn, Visor can't really fight back a huge amount.
I'm just curious. What on earth is Tox going to do at the moment? He's being pushed to the absolute edge, and he's got to do something. I think the way Tox is as a person, I always don't think he believes how powerful he is in fights. He surely knows the reputation that he's got. I think if he just gets stuck in, takes a few more calculated risks, then he can take down GaRpY in a close range fight. I
just feel like it's these be-all end-all plays, right? It's going to be big risks, but it's going to be big rewards if you can get it. Unfortunately, if it doesn't work out, all you really do is just think about it forever afterwards. GaRpY hasn't landed any rockets.
He's very weak at the moment. Going to get a health bubble, but certainly vulnerable still.
If there's one champion that's going to capitalize on you being caught by a couple of rockets, it's going to be Slash. He's going to get right in there.
I'm confused why Tox didn't try to go for some extra damage. Maybe he stacked up a bit later, but I would have expected more. There we go, we've got a strong vertical rail from Tox, and he's getting a good start on this round.
He's got no more rails though, so actually again, aiming down the site, but with no shots.
Yeah, he'll need to top up on that.
It's been a consistent issue. It's been a consistent issue for some of these players, is actually running out of ammo.
Find that, going with the LG, not landing too much, and we're getting a closer range rail while GaRpY then breaks away from the fight. And now he's got a good stack advantage going for him. Mega not up for a couple of seconds. Is GaRpY going to try and close the gap? No, not too much. Plasma trail over here. Look at the movement here from Tox. This is what we want to see from him. LG to find, but he can't get the frag.
That was ridiculous. I mean, like, just in record time from one place to the other, going in with the LG.
I think we're seeing him mad at the moment. We are seeing an angry Tox, and he wants to get something done in this series, looking to tie up the round score. Good control for him right now, and I see him certainly getting the Mega as well.
Especially when he's got access to his plasma trail. Look how fast this champion can get from one power-up to the next.
And GaRpY's going to be pretty scared at this point. The only silver lining for him is that he's got time to sort of engineer a comeback, but not a lot of time. And Tox, the rails, you need to manage this ammo a little bit stronger. He keeps trying to go for it, and it's not working. And during this time, GaRpY, he's getting some revenge damage.
I'm just not really sure what's happening here. Like, he's consistently going in for the rail, and nothing's coming out because there is no ammo left.
Well, he actually gets himself onto the armor. GaRpY's got a position. He's knocked him out! Oh my days!
Ring out! There we go, just like that. It's amazing how quickly you can just lose your health in those kind of situations.
Are we not still in the round, though?
I believe we are, yeah.
Okay, can we like that? Can we go back? Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys.
I was like, wait, did I just... Anyway, GaRpY...
back into it, back into it.
GaRpY looking to get a one more frag to tie things up.
I mean, that's one way to get back into the fight, right? If you ring someone out, they just get insta-killed.
That was how powerful that frag was, actually, just then.
It just took us out of the game.
And GaRpY, isn't he right behind him? Yeah, there's a rail just there. GaRpY's got to be a little bit careful, but with Nyx versus Nyx, that's an interesting matchup. And if you get outplayed on using the Ghost Walk, then... I mean, and if GaRpY's able to be on the better end of that, he can certainly come back in this. Good damage, and did he force it just then? I thought I saw
no. That was
good timing.
Insane. Those rockets, they just did a smidgen more health. Toxic would have no doubt lost that Nyx there, but two rockets that didn't hit him too heavily, allowed him to escape, and that missed rail finished it. However, we do start to reach that point where we're going into 1 minute warning, and it's going to be Nyx with Ghost Walk. It becomes infinitely harder to take her out.
Both players, though, with the Ghost Walk. And GaRpY, his aim's been looking good. He didn't realize that Tox was over there, tries to get a little flick rail to the side. His control isn't too bad at the moment. I say that just as he says it. He loses another rail and is going to need to move back. Can't believe he's going in for this damage, and that is going to be critically wounding for him. We're getting a tied round. Tox looking to come back in the series and get himself a map on the board. Risky play from GaRpY. I think I could see what he's trying to do with the element of surprise. Just the execution wasn't, well, it was there for Toxic and not for GaRpY.
Well, going into this final round, it's going to be infinitely more important for Tox to stay in this fight. But if GaRpY can take this, he's going to be riding a lot of momentum going into the rest of this tournament. A 2-0 result would be fantastic, but I think Tox, he's making them fight for it.
Got himself a good amount of armor.
And we've had pretty much the same start every round. It's pretty much always been Doomslayer and always been Slash. Going in full speed ahead, catches him off guard, but doesn't have as much health.
I like what GaRpY did with the rocket there, going towards the health. He knew that Tox needed it, but Tox didn't have the time to go there, even if he wanted to.
He caught him off guard too, but that's the strength of Doomslayer and his stack. Catch him off guard and hit one rocket, he's still got plenty of health and armor to fight back. And if you're GaRpY and you've been hitting those rockets so consistently, it doesn't really matter.
GaRpY showing himself. Tox doesn't go for any spam or anything like that. And I think he even had a read just then. One rail. I think Tox coming off a little better in that brief engagement. But tentative it is. And I won't be surprised if this ends up being quite a slow round between the players.
There's so much on the line, right? I mean, like, what we've seen risky plays come through, but this is a situation where a risky play will either send you out of the tournament. You know, one bad mistake could send you out of DreamHack at this stage, so there's a lot to think about.
And I know that Tox has got sacrifice to think about as well, whereas GaRpY is 100% about the duel at DreamHack Denver. He is so emotionally invested in this game at the moment. he's looking to get himself a high position here at DreamHack Denver.
And he's been so consistently placing high in like so many online EU Cups. He's riding so much of this momentum going into this tournament.
Has been very, very slow so far, tentatively looking at some rails at each other, a bit of rocket splash, but not actually that much damage being exchanged.
Yeah, for now. It's been a very slow round indeed, going on 2 minutes, and more missed rails coming through.
Right now, where you don't want to have your shaky hands going or anything like that. You want to be pinpoint precise. GaRpY moving across. Oh, he misses his jump, actually, but is he going to try and capitalize on it? He's not going to be able to. That is a fantastic combo from Tox, and he needs to charge in at some point. GaRpY, yeah, I think, used Berserk, and he's looking for resources.
Hear that Berserk get used just to try and get that instant speed, get out of that situation, and now he has been able to somewhat restack back up, but actually opts to go back in. Toxic nearly had that fight.
I like that from Tox, but I don't think he deliberately chose to go on the bounce pad, and GaRpY was able to sort of breathe easy for a moment. And he's managed to re-stabilize with the health and armor that he's now got.
So now we're halfway into this round. If you get that first champion in this kind of setting, actually Toxic going in the air, not getting hit by those grounded rockets. Nice little bit of movement there. Here comes Doomslayer up behind Toxic. Wasn't quite aware temporarily, but...
I think he was caught Tox's back as he turned around. I'm 100% sure there. LG coming out a little bit. Can't find the rail to follow up, but just moving his crosshair at the wrong moment.
Yeah, GaRpY's not been hitting a lot of rails in this round. Most of them failing to connect, unfortunately.
Tox has been getting a couple. He's been looking a little better, I think, in this round. Certainly his control, and he's been the one at the moment to be able to put on the pressure to GaRpY and force those, escape artist moves.
But here comes that slow pace again. No one wants to make a smidgen of noise. But with that Mega, knowing he's coming through, nice little prediction there.
Missed that one.
Yeah, I'd have been surprised if he missed that one.
Here comes the Plasma Drill. He wants to charge in. He's going to find him straight away, but where's GaRpY gone? He went sky high for a moment.
Yeah, that was almost like very beneficial for GaRpY that he got set at such a strange angle. Here comes the Berserk. We hear it get used. Knocked miles away, but you're stuck in melee. Is he going to try and follow through? He's in heaps of trouble now, but he does manage to escape temporarily. That Berserk could have been disastrous.
I think GaRpY's got to break away. He's been trying to counter-aggress a little bit and just make sure that Tox is not feeling too comfortable to make the moves he's making. But right now it's about survival, and Tox is looking to play this one fast, but he doesn't continue his turnaround and instead goes down to armor, which seems a bit counterproductive.
There's that 1 minute warning. We're reaching that point again, Zuber. It's likely to be one champion victory.
I know I predicted a 2-0 for GaRpY, but I think from the way this round's played out so far, it's Tox's round to lose. I would certainly expect us to see a third map.
But I mean, this is that world-class / movement coming through Tox. I mean, like the speed he can go from essentially wherever he wants to go. No one's able to keep up with this guy. No one in the world can keep up with this guy.
He's just not able to close the round out. He's missing some of the rails at the moment. He misses his jump as well, where he would have been able to get some good aggression. GaRpY's going to get himself... Oh, he's not going for the armor. He actually decides to move away from it and thinks that's too... puts himself too much in the open. I kind of like that from GaRpY.
Yeah, opted to actually go back there, concede the heavy, but if he's conceding the heavy, it's likely Tox is going to get it.
This is bad news.
Back to back 2 times in a row he hit it.
You don't want to get caught on that bounce pad. That is horrific from GaRpY, and he needs to make a move in. He's got the Anarchy, but he's so far away. Tox is just going to launch himself to the other side of the map, and we're going to see a third map.
I could only assume what happened there was he tried to double jump while he was on the jump pad, but then because while you're in the double jump, you can still be a little bit slow in that, and he just couldn't move forward far enough to stop that.
A mind-breaking moment for GaRpY, because if he was able to double jump at the right moment and at least get on the top of the ledge, or at least strafe off of the bounce pad going down so that he was near the blood pool, then he would at least have a chance to get away from that. But he just gave 3 angles over there. That is going to be one of the most straightforward frags you're going to see, but one of the most critical moments as well.
I think particularly if you're using a jump pad against Toxic, I mean, there's no way this guy's going to miss that shot.
Just don't do that. GaRpY maybe getting in his own mind a little bit, but he's got another map to make things happen for him and take himself to the semi-finals. But Tox is back in the series, and maybe this is where I'll eat my words from earlier.
Well, you never know. We have one more map left to go, and I think there's no getting around the fact that in that final round in particular, GaRpY's rails they just weren't hitting the mark. And if you're not going to connect those shots, you lose pretty much all elements of just control you had. If you're able to miss a shot and then they go around, they heal up, they get this item here, this item there, then you know, those rails need to land to keep you in that aggressive situation that GaRpY's been doing so consistently throughout this entire map.
Well, we're going to be getting either Blood Run or Ruins of Sarnath next. I actually unfortunately didn't see the map removals at this stage, but I think both of these maps actually are good for either player. I'd be very surprised if we see something as one-sided as we did on Corrupted Keep. I expect a bit more of a sort of a bloodbath frenzy as we saw on Blood Covenant.
Well, toxjq, I think, has shown us that he is a bit of a slow starter in Duel at the moment, especially at these later stages. Now, we're pretty much seeing what we saw yesterday in the VU match, where it was quite a dominant win against him first, and then the change to Blood Covenant. It was a bit more dominant yesterday than it was today, but the fundamental fact is Tox was able to stay in the fight, do what he wants to do, win the map. Going into this next map, I think Tox is definitely going to be riding a lot more of that momentum. You know, now GaRpY, he's in a situation where mentally he's asking himself, right, okay, that went wrong. I've got to do something else here, and that can be a real mental break on some players.
I think a lot of people see players as if they lose advantages on critical maps, then they feel sort of psychologically weakened going into the tiebreaker map. But I've seen GaRpY yesterday under pressure against Dahang on a tiebreaker map where he had a 2-0 victory on Blood Run, sorry, a 2-0 lead. Then Dahang took back 2 rounds, and yet GaRpY had the sort of presence of mind to actually just still take the win on that final round. So I think that GaRpY's still pretty headstrong at the moment, and we should look at getting into the champion selections relatively soon.
Yeah, I mean, of course not to jinx it, but GaRpY, he's been in this situation many times where it's the final map, it comes down to the final round, final champion. Unfortunately, GaRpY has kind of historically come off a little bit worse in those last round moments. However, at DreamHack, the weekend, he has actually come off better in those exchanges.
Well, the thing is, it's not a qualifier right now, so he's already done brilliantly to get himself to the playoff situation. But it's now, can he take himself a little bit further? I know that he's also gunning for that DreamHack winter qualification spot, but there's a whole heap of people at the moment in this bracket who have not yet qualified for DreamHack winter. He's looking to go as far as he can and also secure his position there.
It'd be a great way to do it. You know, qualify now, so you don't have to do it later. It just makes your life a lot easier.
Exactly, it gives yourself more to practice for as well, and who knows what events will be leading in the future. Looks like GaRpY having a chat at the moment, trying to get things sorted.
Yeah, I believe one of them had a PC restart. I believe one of the players had a PC restart. So we'll wait for them to quickly reboot. That shouldn't take too long, but we'll get back into this match as soon as possible. If the graphics are correct, we might be seeing Ruins of Sarnath up next. Ruins
of Sarnath, well, I think this, if there's going to be a map where Clutch could be used, this would be the one for GaRpY. But I wonder, obviously we're going to get an Anarchy from GaRpY. Obviously we're going to be getting a Slash from toxjq. I would be surprised if we don't see the Doomslayer used by GaRpY. It's not really a champion though that's been selected by toxjq much at all, so I imagine he'll probably steer clear of that. And we could potentially see a Visor third pick in a row.
I feel like toxjq must really believe in the Visor pick, because he has used Visor on Ruins also. We haven't seen a huge amount of his Visor recently, but for him to constantly go to this champion, because obviously it's not just piercing sight, it's the fact that Visor has a really good stack. You know, he has natural health and armor is quite high. If he manages to have control over the items, which Visor can take control because of that piercing sight, he can be quite a tanky champion to deal with, and he's not got the biggest hitbox in the game.
Absolutely. Well, we're going into the picks right now. toxjq's going to Slash, and the Anarchy for GaRpY, as expected, as ordinary, and there's the Doomslayer as well. Now curious what's going to be following up for these players. Yeah,
I feel like GaRpY, if he goes in with that clutch, then it's going to be losing Nyx. You know, Nyx has been quite a saving grace in Duel historically.
Maybe a Nyx here for toxjq as well. He's going to get a Solag second pick. And this is where, is it going to be a Visor? Is it going to be a Nyx? Or is he going to surprise us with something else, like maybe even a Galena play?
Potentially. I mean, you can see he's thinking about it, and it's going to be Visor again. He's going to put all of his confidence in this final pick, and it's going to be Nyx.
All right.
GaRpY staying quite traditional with his picks this time.
Well, I hope that we're going to see a bit more of the Visor plays from Tox. We still haven't seen huge amounts from the Visor just yet. But again, he's got a chance to redeem Visor as the champion here in the meta to see how he's going to be delivering.
I feel like it's also the fact that you know, when you see Visor get picked first, it's quite easy for him to like sometimes snowball it because of how much utility you can get from his ability. But you look at the fact that he's got Solag, he's got Slash. I mean, I'm willing to bet that toxjq just goes, even though Visor is strong when you pick him first, I just prefer having these champions first. I mean, him on Slash as well, it makes sense that he's not using Visor immediately.
Maybe Visor first could be a good pick, because you can use that piercing sight immediately at the beginning, see what your opponent's getting up to, what armor is he going to take first, what weapons are going to go first, what can I do, and secure yourself at least some stability at the initial stages of the map.
Especially if you get a good start too. You know, if you can get that spawn that's sort of near Rail and LG together, and also near Heavy. You know, Visor, he's not the slowest champion either. You can sort of get some of those items and then pop a piercing sight. You can have a fantastic start. But here we go. This is going to be the final map between GaRpY and toxjq. All is on the line, and these guys have been playing out of their minds. But one more map's going to decide their fate.
Let's see who we're going to be getting started right off the beginning. It is going to be GaRpY on the Doomslayer. And of course, I mean, although we theoretized over getting the visor off the beginning, when you're that good with Slash, you're probably just going to be picking her first.
I mean, it is the surprise of no one. You know, that's it. It's either going to be her or Sorlag, but it's probably going to be her regardless.
And GaRpY's still not going down to the lower levels to get himself that rail or lightning gun yet. Making sure he's got heaps of rockets to work with. And I like that. This is managing your ammunition and anticipating some close range fights.
Well, we've seen time and time again how often these players are running out of ammo. And if you've got 20 rockets immediately, then the chances of that is quite low.
What's happened over here? He's just taken both items. He's about to get back onto the weaponry, taking the rail. Not much damage given by Tox. And he's just forfeited a huge amount of map control.
It's quite interesting to do it so early as well, giving GaRpY this early advantage.
Well, GaRpY's got all the information he needs on Tox, and Tox has stuck himself in a pretty hard corner. I wonder if he's going to be able to make a move in onto the Mega. Looks like GaRpY giving a lot of respect to him and say, you know what, you've earned it. You go ahead and take it. GaRpY's got to watch out for is that he's not too slow getting over to the Heavy.
And with the speed of which Slash can pretty much just jump down to that ledge and then get that crouch slide, so you can pretty much go from one power up to the next on Runes of Sarnath quite effectively, especially compared to Doomslayer.
Rail, though, everything landing for Tox at the moment, not so much for GaRpY. Has got the Berserk back up if he needs that extra mobility to escape. But he's in a pretty hard corner at the moment.
Minimal damage, but still data, I suppose, that Toxic's in that situation.
Yeah, Tox kind of giving him a lot of space to get out of where he was, and GaRpY's going to be able to break away a little bit. He's going to have to run away from this, going down for the armor. And Tox, I think he certainly could have justified a bit more aggression then.
That last-minute turn towards the rail, we trying to challenge it, going in for Berserk to try and juke to his best of his abilities. I mean, even though he had the heavy armor, he had such little health, he can't really risk getting hit regardless, and just running his battle trail.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that plasma charge just there, and all the rockets that GaRpY's been firing off, he needs to sort out his ammunition and pronto. Going to find a few more rails. Lightning gun still hasn't been taken from him, from the floor. He's not yet even going for it. He's pretty much ignored it exclusively. Only one rocket left. This is a bad position to be in. You need to get a few more.
Oh, unfortunately as well, GaRpY trying to go for that double jump, using it slightly too early. There might be some slight signs of some nerves here. You know, these little things where you do the double jump just half a second too early.
Just the shots that he's not been landing. Looking good on the teleporter exit in case the re-engage comes from Tox. He's going to need some more rockets as well. And the crate's not on the floor. He might need to break away here from the Berserk. He's going to go for it.
Oh! I don't know why, but I was so nervous.
Oh, the rail!
Oh, there we go, 13 health. He's still so weak, but the final rail fails to connect. GaRpY, he's in a spot of bother right now.
Why has Tox not gone in for the kill? It's completely confused me. I don't know what he's aiming to do. All right, this is bad. GaRpY, if he's able to escape from this, it would be a complete miracle. He's landed a rail, and he's also... I mean, he's got the escape option there to go down the bounce pad, but he's not chosen to go for it.
And Toxic doesn't even try and fight. That's such an interesting situation to be in.
Like, as much as Tox has been more in control recently and been getting better damage, he's not going in for the killing blow. It's just some strange sort of passiveness to the way that Tox is playing this. Wow, what a shot there from GaRpY.
I mean, that was through the vase, wasn't it? That was through the pot. But now Toxic in a fast turn of events. I mean, like, you know, a couple of super nails and one rail is going to be enough to put GaRpY back in the fight. And you wonder if this is the kind of thing, like Toxic not finishing the job there, not going in for what basically was a guaranteed frag with how weak GaRpY was.
Yeah.
Will he live to regret that going into 1 minute left in this round?
It's been a couple of times as well. I mean, I think two, maybe even 3 times he's got GaRpY weak and decided, oh, I'm just going to go for the items instead. And we'll see about finishing the job a little later on.
But unfortunately, with 1 minute left on this round, if it keeps going the way it's going, it's probably going to be a one champion round. It's not the first time we've seen it with these two players. A lot of respect comes through, a lot of passiveness. But with this final map coming through, will they just stay true to these decisions? You know, will they carry on?
This is the first time in the wild that GaRpY's been able to breathe easy, have a heavy, and be able to do something. Got to watch out. He's only got a... oh, actually, he did find the ammo crate, so he's not too bad. And Mega is spawning soon. This is a complete change of control. He's only got the rocket to work with.
Yeah, Toxic caught him with that free. Actually patiently waited on the rocket. I think he acknowledges how many rockets GaRpY is firing. He's likely to be running out of ammo soon. And he just sat there for a few seconds waiting for him to inevitably pick it up. No,
for sure. It's been the whole 5 minutes almost, and GaRpY has not gone for the LG. Oh, the rocket.
Oh, dear.
What a move from him. GaRpY, though, is very weak to a rail, so he's going to break away and get himself the armor to pad himself a little bit.
But how fast he was able to move. Toxic, I mean, he's given himself a little bit of health. But with that Mega coming through GaRpY, Toxic, if he gets caught in a bad spot now, I'd be very worried. Sudden death.
Wow.
Next champion's gonna do it. That's
this
one
is bad
rail.
news. If he hits that rail, that would have been the kill. Tox trying to break away, but he can't chase that plasma trail because that would be the end of him. All of a sudden, it looked like for 3.5 or so minutes that Toxic was almost guaranteed to get a frag, but not having capitalized on those opportunities, it could cost him the first round of this crucial map.
I mean, you always feel so unfortunate when like that one final shot that would finish this round comes through, but GaRpY, just a short of time, gets put in a situation where one more rail would have taken him out.
Why is Tox not going for the items? Has he lost timing? I think that's very possible at the moment.
I wonder as well if Toxic is just really worried about just bumping in to GaRpY. You know, just like in these situations where if he has indeed lost the timing and he tries to go for one of them, if GaRpY's around the corner with a rocket at close range, Toxic might be toast.
Wow, great exchange from the two players. And still ignoring that that lightning gun completely. 6 minutes in the game, and he's just feeling that, you know what, lightning gun's not a tool that I want to use
Maybe
against
that's
Slash.
just GaRpY's approach in this game. You know, if the LG is a bit harder to aim with, I'm just not going to use it.
No, I think that's absolutely fine. You know, use it against the champions that you feel more comfortable with.
Exactly.
That's okay. He's got to watch out. He's trying to close the gap a little bit. He's not being hit by the rails. Tox is going to try and break away. He's quite weak, and GaRpY's not quite hitting these important rails that would, well, either secure the flag or make him close.
He just needs one more shot. Now Toxic's put really between that rock and a hard place. Is it going to be left or right? Uses the plasma trail just to be a little bit faster towards the right. He has able to escape for now, but GaRpY with this heavy anyway. That was a clutch plasma trail.
Oh, doesn't quite find the splash. He's going to try and get close to him. He's got him in the air, and Tox goes down. GaRpY secures the first round here. And that is going to be a nice relief for him.
Yeah, you see that sigh of relief. I think everyone watching this stream breathed that sigh of relief. That was a hell of a round, but it was just number one. There is plenty left to go.
There was only one frag in almost 7 minutes, but I found it fascinating how the two are playing in terms of control. Although I think Tox, if he looked back at that game, he's going to realize that he didn't capitalize on some moments where he would have certainly been able to get the frag once or twice over.
I mean, I guess sometimes with Doomslayer having as much of a stack as he has, you know, sometimes you can almost go, well, maybe I just thought he had more health because the champion naturally has quite a lot of health. Would you watch the VOD back and go, I didn't know he was that weak, but I know Toxic, he's got knowledge for days.
Exactly. And you notice that GaRpY's realized he's going versus the Sorlag now, and he gets himself the lightning gun this time 20 seconds into the game rather than not at all 7 minutes in.
I think that's quite a clear indication of the weapons he chooses to use depending on the matchup. You know, that's a good awareness of how to play Quake champions.
And definitely playing with how the updates are going as well. You know, and adapting well, and that's definitely part and parcel of what the job description is as a pro player in the game. He's got to watch out though, not getting too close into Tox.
Yeah, there's that Berserker spot. It's only a matter of time until he pops it just to get that instant burst of speed to escape. Toxic tries to head him off, gets hit by one rail, but he had just enough health to survive. But he can still lay the pressure on going in for the LG. Now GaRpY, this is a difficult situation to be in with no rockets.
Wow, is he going to get the armor here? Oh, he's not evading the rail though. Such an important shot from Tox. Now getting himself a little bit into this map.
Definitely. It's a much faster frag than we saw in the last round, but I think GaRpY just going, right, if I get this heavy, I might be able to escape. Toxic making a really good decision to chase him down. Going in, I think GaRpY tried to be aggressive, but he took heaps of damage in the process.
Yeah, I have felt that it seems a little harder to hit the direct acid spit on this update. I don't know if that's just some kind of placebo effect of some sort.
You never know, do you? This early on.
Yeah, but GaRpY seems to feel a bit more comfortable being aggressive. However, he's being chased quite as rapidly as you can when you're Sorlag versus Anarchy.
It's going quite fast, but almost like history repeating itself right there. The rail, but he misses 2 of them in a row. That allows GaRpY to escape.
He didn't even have the injection. I think he's very close to being railable. It could have been 1 or 2 health points between it. GaRpY just jumping right over him. Can he get any damage? He does find some rockets, actually. They keep following up, and Tox is going to have to break away a bit.
Oh, wow! He just goes in full speed and hits all 3 of those ticking acids.
Yeah, that was very good damage from Toxic, and if he hadn't have hit that, he would probably go down, actually, to the Anarchy.
Anarchy does not like acid spit, even though it does less damage now. The ticking is not as prominent as it was. Anarchy still doesn't like getting caught in close range by that ability.
GaRpY, I think he would have heard where Tox is, and he's got to make an aggressive play. Will know that the acid spit won't be up immediately. It's time to make action on this.
And if things go pear-shaped, he's got the injection available. That's one good rocket. There's the defensive acid spit coming through, but is it enough?
Oh, that was really nice, actually, from Tox, and he's going to land the rail as well. The acid spit, because he just got those hourglasses beforehand, he was able to defend himself with that. I think GaRpY maybe miscalculated just when Acid Spit was going to come up.
Yeah, he kind of went in for the kill, but you said yourself right, it was the hourglasses in that one moment, and that's that absolute next level of Duel is understanding where are they on the map, what items are they likely to have collected. If it's the hourglass, what is their cooldown? What, are they going to have it now? You know, there's so many decisions you have to make.
Oh, okay, Acid Spit used over here. That was good damage, actually, from GaRpY. And I love that he instigates the aggression so much. Is he going to try and go in for this? He tries to go for the rail. He's weak, looking for some extra splash. GaRpY, does he want to take the risk and go in for it?
No,
he's
he
not
opts to
going
go for it. Yeah, he's much more content taking that heavy and trying to fight at a later date. The problem is, he's facing again 1.5 minutes. He's got to get 2 frags. Toxic, he's going to be defensive now. He can start playing to the timer if he wants to.
Oh, GaRpY, can't believe he lands that rail. He's going to want to chase up to get another one. The Acid Spit still not up for a couple of seconds. He needs to find where Toxic's going to be. There it is. One rocket and the rail to follow up. Brilliant play here from GaRpY.
And now GaRpY's been given that opening. He's going in for Slash, so obviously Slash, he's going to have that instant speed. He's got the plasma trail to get around, so catching her off the spawn is going to be a little bit difficult, but GaRpY, this is the lifeline he was after. Misses one of the rails.
Thinks he's got no rockets at all. He's literally only got this to work with, but the Mega's going to be up. Is he going to try and make a play on this? I think Toxic's just around the corner. He might be trying to go for a rail shot soon. Oh, found it direct. Can he follow up the rail? He doesn't find the angle in time. Rocket to follow. In. Oh, he's so weak at the moment, but he can't find the finishing blow.
So surprised that rail missed. That looked like it was on the money, but it must have just been like a hair's length from connecting.
Well, GaRpY's able to maintain the control, fortunately for him. He is going to get the lightning gun to make sure he really has got every tool in his arsenal to try and get the job done. He's found him, looking to get himself a rail.
Just so much of it around. I mean, how can he chase this down? He's got 20 seconds to make something happen. We're not likely to see one more plasma trail, but GaRpY, he's got to pile in and he needs to win this fight. He does not have time to regroup himself.
Oh, he can't find the lightning gun damage at all, and he didn't want to go for the rockets instead. Didn't necessarily see the ammunition surface for that, but Toxic getting out of a hard corner then where the hourglasses spawn.
That was really well played, and GaRpY, I mean, he had no choice but to just pile into that just in case, but nice little rail. Understanding GaRpY's probably going to try and get that armor, but it was the Acid Spit that kept him in that fight, and it's going to be 1-1. This is going, well, as close as you would expect a top 8 at a Dreamhack.
Completely. Again, Tox was so close for him that round to GaRpY not being able to tie it up. He's got to try and make it a bit more convincing now.
Yeah, sort of got GaRpY where he wants him though. Unfortunately, missing one of those rails is going to give him a little bit of an opening to get some of the damage in between, but the aggressive plasma trail.
GaRpY still hasn't taken the heavy armor, actually. It's not gone at all yet. He grabs it just as the second rotation would have come up anyway, and I think Toxic would have heard it from the upper levels.
Maybe interested to see how he tries to make this approach here. Oh! Just at the last minute, sees a rocket coming. No, thank you.
Tox might consider getting the lightning gun as well. Yep. Still got some good effect versus the Doomslayer on certain situations.
I feel like sort of denying the rocket from GaRpY. We did see that actually in round 1, where GaRpY consistently didn't have many rockets, and Toxic was sort of commanding that area. I think he knows that GaRpY doesn't want to LG him. And if he can take away that key weapon that he knows is like his real ace in the hole against his Slash.
Tox can't quite follow up with another rail, trying to do some damage, but misses his jump across. So without that surprise attacking and working properly, he'll just back off a little bit and play it a tad safer. Whoa, finds the angle anyway.
Nice shot.
Wow. I want to see Tox go to this heavy armor now, because there's enough time between the two that he can grab both. Let's find him. Oh, he misses out on a possible rail angle over there, and we've got the Mega up. Shouldn't be an issue for him to get across. GaRpY's right in front of it. He can't just get to it. Rail up the bounce pad. We've seen that before against GaRpY, and Tox, he wants to get out of here. He's not even going for one more rail shot.
I think he's just content having more health temporarily, but wow, GaRpY actually just waiting by the teleporter. Probably expecting that fast movement. Nice shot.
Awesome rail. GaRpY's going to drop down and try and get himself the armor. It doesn't spawn for 4 seconds. I don't know if he can do anything here, but Tox missing an important rail for himself. Armor spawns, but GaRpY's not going to sit around like that.
Yeah, even if he can't secure the frag, what he has been able to do is take the heavy armor away from GaRpY, and he's in this situation where I think he would have quite liked having the armor on deck.
And Tox didn't quite read that he was over by the small armor at the top. He's going to find him now. Splash damage just going to miss out, and it's all about Tox's rail right now. He's hitting so much. There's the rocket. It's going to have to be the frag soon. Finds him close range. Tox winning at the moment on round 3.
Going in for the kill, and acknowledging that he's hit those 2 rockets. It's time to go in. I've got my plasma trail, and the second he'd popped that berserk, there really was no way he was going to outrun Slash going at that speed. But now, speaking of speed, here comes Anarchy. Oh,
GaRpY's Anarchy has actually been awesome so far. I'm surprised that we've seen so much Doomslayer first pick, actually.
I'm actually, yeah, I was kind of almost expecting him to try and sort of go toe-to-toe with the mobility, but missing 2 vital rails. Toxic punishing heavily with those rockets. Now he's got that Nyx. That's the final champion right here.
I think that was brilliantly countered by Tox. I think it was GaRpY putting himself in a terrible position, but yeah, Tox capitalizing just as he should have. Oh, that was so close to being a direct. What an immense read that would have been.
That would have been curtains for poor old GaRpY.
Right now, GaRpY is looking at going down 2-1 in this final map. Unless he can do something miraculous. Oh, that rail!
It's coming through again. I mean, we have seen GaRpY, his accuracy's been on point this entire series, but those final shots, the ones that seal the deal, he's not quite able to land those marks.
Can't let the nerves get to him right now.
Only just picked up a rocket, so he wasn't really able to do anything from range with the exception of obviously the rail.
GaRpY, is he going to try and head towards the armor? I think once he gets this, it's got to be action time. He's got to do something. Tox missing a rail is a huge blessing for GaRpY.
For sure, because now he's got 1 minute left. He has to get 2 champions just to stay in this fight. If he's not getting hit by those rails, he can keep that stack. He can fight a little bit earlier than he wants to. However, will Toxic give him the chance, or will he just play this runaway game for a minute? It could definitely happen. 45 seconds left, 15 seconds already gone.
And that's still going to get an aggressive Ghost Walk at the moment. Does he know where he's gone? Rocket just goes below Toxic. Finds him with 1 rail, 1 more to get the kill, but there's no reload. Loses out on the angle.
I mean, the problem is, the longer it's going to take him to get this frag, he's still going to have to get 1 more, and Toxic, he's lucky. He gets it at the last minute. Fantastic play. It's Sorlag next. I love it. Use the natural stack and the acid spit. Make it really hard for GaRpY.
LG at the moment, GaRpY is going all in at the moment. He's got no real choice. He's going to have 5 health. Ghost Walk's being used.
I mean, this is all or nothing. This is all or nothing. He just needs 1 more rocket. He's got 10 seconds to get the job done.
He's going to have to bounce over. Oh, huge rocket landed. He's got to hit something else. He's got rail in play as well. Finds the frag with 2 seconds to go. Are you kidding me, GaRpY? And the control to follow up afterwards.
And oh my word, thank the Lord he had that mega health, because Visor with the piercing sight could have been popped early on. If he had no health, Toxic could have rushed that.
Finds a tiny bit of splash damage.
I cannot believe GaRpY is still in this round.
Yeah, what is happening, Ketchup? I'm at loss for words.
You got the health eventually, GaRpY. Got it eventually. I mean, you can tell, right? Just at these moments.
This is really big. If he can put himself in an advantage and him on match point first, that is such a psychological edge to have.
Wow! God, Zoot!
Unbelievable, GaRpY. How the hell did he make that comeback? That was extraordinary.
I have no idea. There was 1 second in it. He lands what he needs, and then the surgical rails at the last minute. Like, right here, look how little time he had left.
And look how little health he had. What on earth? Toxic did put himself in a hard situation. I mean, okay, sure, we got the power of hindsight. Maybe if he just hid at the hourglasses, it could be better. But you know what? Who knows? Better not to discuss right now, because we've got an important round.
I mean, this map is far from over. We can have a really close next round. It would go down to the final round. This could still take place, but GaRpY, I don't think it's possible to have as much momentum as this guy is riding right now.
Yeah, this is insane. Can he take it home? We've got the armor starting to be collected. Major items are spawning. What does Tox want to go for? Are they going to go for the same ones? He just sees him above. That'll be a rail for Tox. He's not going to follow up. He'll take the mega and be like, you know what, that's a trade that I'm happy to accept.
Oh, I like that little sort of like decision, actually using the jump pad and double back. One of the strengths of Doomslayer, actually using the jump pad to get the sound effect to play, and then using your double jump to sort of juke, go somewhere else.
I think he was looking for maybe a safer route to get to rockets, and now equipped with the weapon, looking to do some good damage. Finds the rail in the air. Tox has got barely anything to survive with.
But unfortunately, GaRpY just, there was no angle there he could get 1 final shot. You know, the second he got that fantastic rail, yes, but Toxic was really going to get away from that.
Is he going to try and attack armor? Let's see what's happening over here.
Looks like it.
Find him at the bottom. Tox taking a lot of damage. Rockets coming out from GaRpY. Surely going to be a frag. There we go.
Here we go. This could be the pain train beginning. GaRpY with that first frag. He's got the advantage now going in for Sorlag, so, you know, catching him fresh off the spawn. He's got lots of health.
He needs ammunition, though. He's got no rockets, actually.
Yep, so he actually has to get a little bit more of that equipment on deck before we can take the next fight, no doubt. Hasn't got an LG either.
Yeah, and he's going to look at getting the lightning gun at some point. That's definitely on his list of things to do. Rail missed here by Tox.
Oh, two rails missing.
Actually, no items taken from Tox either. I still want to see like GaRpY go back for some more rockets just to make sure he really has got enough, and also get this lightning gun too.
But I wonder if getting caught off guard by Armor, that was really what caused him to lose Slash so quickly. Does he want to put himself in that same situation again? Does he want to risk it? Is it a risk for him?
Oh, these rails here from Tox. All of a sudden, GaRpY's advantage that he had on the control is fading away. I don't know if he just heard him. But gonna move away, does get hit by one more rail, but he knows that he's got the rotation on the items, and that's something that Tox has been quite weak on lately.
Going in for the rocket instead, I think just expecting Toxic to push that one forward a little bit more safer than the rail. If the rail didn't connect, you would have seen Toxic going for the kill there during the downtime.
It's almost as if GaRpY is just playing defensive, even though he's got the control. Runs into him close range. This is a chance for Tox to get back in. GaRpY going to be able to break away from this. Mega will spawn soon, but he wants to be so careful and trying to think now, what is the safest route I can take in order to get...
Almost. I love the double jump around the corner, actually sort of using that height.
This is bad news for GaRpY. Two big items, immense amount of overstack at the moment for Sorlag. I do not know how he's going to stop Tox from getting his kill.
I mean, realistically, if he gets hit by one of these rails, Toxic's actually going in for the kill, but he's failed to land a single shot. And now that acid spit's going to be down for about 30 seconds. And with 3 minutes left, 30 seconds is a long time to not have an ability. Can he finish the job?
He needs some health. He's going to be able to find the bubbles on the edge of the map. I wonder what Tox is going to go for. Does he want to go for items? No, he's going for pressure. One rocket sends him into the air. Can't find the mid-air to follow up. And Tox is going to get back into this round.
That was like an air battle. They had that fight while in mid, and that was ridiculous.
We've got space machines here. Space dinosaurs.
But here we go. Toxic
champions.
A little bit of rockets on deck. He did pretty much spend all of his rockets in that fight. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous.
GaRpY going in for this? This is crazy. We haven't got items up for a while. Oh, he's going to find the frag. GaRpY's over-aggression there is punishing him. He's got the Nyx now to hold on to this round with a minute to go.
But now GaRpY, he's having to make another comeback. He's put himself in a situation where he had to pull off the impossible one time, and now he's going to have to do another difficult task. He's got 55 seconds to do it.
Well, this was the matchup he got before when he made that comeback and brought it to one apiece. So I'm not ruling anything out at the moment, and this kind of like chip damage is something that's going to serve him very well. And he keeps landing these rails. He hasn't got the Ghost Walk available. I'm not sure if this is something Toxic's aware of. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way really he could have seen it.
Oh wow, the rocket. GaRpY going in, doing a lot of damage. He should be able to secure himself the mega health. And now with 20 seconds, GaRpY, what are you going to do?
He has to make something happen now. He hasn't got the time, but I feel like we're just going to see Toxic run away for 10 seconds.
There's Mega. I think he heard it. He's going to go down. Ghost Walk used early on. And that's a brilliant move from Tox. That's surely going to keep him alive.
There was no way GaRpY was going to be able to speed that one up. He couldn't chase that. Perfect execution. That was the one place you got to go. Here we go, Zoot. It's coming down.
Ignore what has happened before, everyone. The duel has now started. We are on the final round of the final map, where we will be determining who will move on to the semi-finals of DreamHack Denver 2017 duel.
Instant adaptation is that GaRpY has now gone Nyx first. Does he feel like right now this is it?
I think something happened to one of the players for a moment, so it looks like we're going to have to hold on to that tension at the moment.
That's quite an unfortunate, actually, time for something like that to happen.
Right at this stage, you know what? I did need a moment to breathe because the series has been absolutely unreal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what we saw yesterday, where we're kicking things off with like a bang, and it's going exactly as we hoped it would go. You know, this is a fantastic way to kickstart this top 8. I feel like they're feeling a lot of pressure right now. One round in it is going to send one of these guys into the bracket. I mean, how can you even call something in this situation?
Yeah, have you changed your prediction?
Personally, I still feel like after seeing the comeback that GaRpY made, I think it's impossible to count this guy out. I was willing to say that Toxic was going to be riding so much of that after, you know, that sort of like timeout that could have gone, and then GaRpY just decides to just go into the, you know, turn the notch up to 11 and pull off one of the most insane comebacks we've ever seen in this game. No, exactly. And I don't think it looked like their conditions weren't exactly perfect for GaRpY, so I imagine we're going to get ourselves a round restart in a short while. So I think everyone, as much as us, on the edge of our seats. And I wonder if predictions are going to change. It looks like we've got an ETA of about 2 minutes, everyone. So we'll cross over to that very soon. It looks like Tox is also just checking that things are good on his side as well. I'm incredibly nervous for GaRpY.
right now.
I feel like he is
Same
too.
for Tox, I guess.
I mean, like it's one of those things where the difference between GaRpY and Tox as well, I think you can actually visually see the levels of comfort. Even if Toxic is feeling uncomfortable, he's not showing it. And GaRpY's just riding so much of this hype. He pumps himself up. He's one of the most passionate players in this community. And you can see the emotion every single time he plays, every single duel he plays in the tournament, saying if he wins, it means the world to him, and you can see that. Now, in this situation, this is like where emotions will run the highest they possibly can.
No, completely. I think this is going to be absolutely wild, and I'm going to hold everything else to the side. I think just to reflect on what we've seen so far in this series, the Visor still hasn't been a standout performance for me at all. Because we've had some long and drawn-out rounds, we don't always get to the Visor from Toxic. But when we have, it's not. I haven't been overwhelmed and impressed.
He's just been losing the Visor so quickly. Like almost every single time he goes into Visor, even in that ridiculous, miraculous comeback that we saw GaRpY make, it was when he'd caught Visor, and then 2 rails later he's dead. That's it. No more Visor.
Exactly. And we didn't even get a chance to really see what he could build upon. It's not like he even had a chance in the round where there was 2 or 3 minutes that he was playing around. Usually the survival rate for Visor was minute and a half maximum.
I mean, it was by far the champion I think that we saw the least. You know, we really haven't seen it used too much. Now, I want to bring attention though, before we had that issue take place, we did see the instant change of champion. So it was normally Doomslayer first versus the obvious slash pick from Toxic. But in that final round, we saw Nyx. I feel like, you know, the Nyx might be, this has been like his star champion in this map. I feel like he just wants to hit the ground running with the champion he knows is probably going to give him the best chance to win one round. I
think I was actually slightly disappointed with how GaRpY's gone with the Anarchy so far. I was expecting a lot more from him. The thing is, when he plays Anarchy, he also kind of gets sort of this blood rage where he just thinks that he can do anything. And although movement-wise he pretty much can, he often puts himself in situations where there's a fine line between am I going to live or am I going to die? Or am I going to get the frag or not? And it has cost him, I think, some important rounds in this game, which might have already seen his way through to the semi-finals.
Well, I mean, we did see that in the previous round, right? Just a little bit of that over-aggression coming through on the teleporter, and he pretty much just died in an instant.
I think we are going to get a couple of replays just to take us time.
Let us recap.
Over to it.
Let's recap.
Oh man, there's been so many crazy things that have been going on. My mind is still blown from that comeback that we saw from GaRpY over here. This was such an important rail for Tox to land as well, actually. I know that he already had a frag advantage there, but you need to be getting those edges where you can. And yeah, that was the sudden death play we saw in the immensely tight round we had. I hope that at some point we get a rundown of that crazy comeback, or at least that last frag, because I could.
There it is.
This is it. This is what brought him back into the round where he could put himself on match point.
And it's just one of those things where, and then the second he got that frag, it was being able to ride that momentum straight in. Now, here we go, right? It was one of those moments where Toxic got caught off guard by the heavy. And then he actually mentioned he was conceding heavy quite consistently after that. I felt like he was really worried that the same thing was just going to happen again.
I think overall, we've had a lot of sort of back and forth of control between the two players, but on the edge, I think GaRpY's been a little bit better with the items, keeping a track of timings. There's definitely been times where Toxic seems to actually not be sure when the items are up. Whereas when GaRpY's not going for the items, I feel that he's more often than not, he's aware of the spawn times, but he just doesn't want to really put himself at risk or to take extra damage, and is waiting for some more rotations to follow around a bit. Whereas Toxic is definitely not so much that way.
And I feel like that kind of approach we'll see a lot more if GaRpY goes Nyx first in this final round.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, you can, with that Ghost Walk being available and that sort of like escape route, he could almost like challenge some of those pickups a bit more reliably, because if it goes pear-shaped, with the exception of like, you know, a direct at 100 health, he can just pop that invisibility and get out of there. Yeah. However, if it goes right, he can use the invisibility to chase and then
such
secure.
a risk, though. I mean, absolutely. But the thing is, changing things up right at the last minute, this
is when you might see it. But then maybe it's where you may not. You know, some players will think that there's just too much on the line to take a risk like that. You know
exactly. Well, guys, it looks like just as these players get sorted, we're going to go for a very quick break, and then we're going to go back into the game soon. We're at such an insanely tense moment between the GaRpY and Toxic series. Whoever wins the next round is going to go through to the semi-finals. So we'll be back as soon as we can to get back on that game. Everyone, and welcome back to DreamHack Denver 2017, the Quake Champions Duel Tournament. We are just going to be moving back into GaRpY versus Toxic on the last round of the final map to see who goes to the semis.
Now, we've resolved the tech issues, which unfortunately took place, but going into this final round, I think the break apart will do, I think it's going to be both good and bad for the players, right? Where it can obviously the obvious negative being it can sort of take momentum away, but at the same time, you can really reflect on what has been happening and what is your approach going to be going into what is one round victory. You know,
That's
one
true.
round that you play. It could be a 30-second round, it could be a 1-minute round. You know, all this build up into what could be a very small payoff depends on how these guys play it.
It would be slightly anticlimactic if we get sort of a 20-second round and we're like, oh.
Well, that's it. See you later.
I don't think we will, though. I think we're going to get something very different to that. As you say, the players have had a chance to reflect a little bit on the game while things have been getting resolved, and I wonder how stuff will change around. We did talk a lot about things that are happening. Actually, something that Jahar mentioned is like Toxic. Why don't you use the machine gun sometimes?
Yeah.
And that would have been a lifesaver for him, I think, on almost a couple of occasions during the series. So he should really be careful of that. I know that he's very confident with his rail and other weapons as well, but sometimes making that switch, which is something that GaRpY's been more flexible on, if Toxin changed that, then that can change a certain situation.
I feel like GaRpY's been displaying a unfathomable display of clutch today. Like he pretty much pulled off one of the best comebacks we ever saw. You know, one of the best comebacks we'd seen even before this was made on Corrupted Keep against Spy, I believe, and it was made by GaRpY again. So I think he's definitely displaying that
he can do that.
Yeah, he's got the fortitude to make those massive game-changing plays. He had 2 seconds to get one frag and he pulled it off. So it was pretty unbelievable, but he's got to keep that going. He's got to do it one more time.
Exactly. Well, what he's going to hope for is that I remember when he was in the qualifiers when he was playing against Spot, he always put himself down by 2 frags, which meant that he had to go clutch all the way at the end. You'd rather not put yourself in that because it's incredibly difficult to pull off such feats. So I imagine we're going to get a little bit more of a slow start. If we see something explosive, then, you know, I'll hold myself down and that'll be fine.
But it sounds like we're getting back into this match.
This
is going to be the final round between GaRpY and Toxic. Winner will be moving on in this bracket. It has been an insane back and forth, and especially on this final round, Ruins of Sarnath, GaRpY has been pulling off an insane level of clutch, but Toxic lies in wait and might be this final barrier.
Well, we have got Doomslayer versus a Slash on this. Now ignore the little circles at the top. This is indeed the final round. And we know we've said the winner goes through. There's no double elimination right now. Loser is going to be out of the tournament as well and no longer contesting any positions.
I mean, this is the extreme high and the extreme low. But Toxic going Slash first is to the surprise of no one. His movement has been sublime on this map.
Although GaRpY hasn't been using Lightning Gun at all really against Slash, he is going to take it on this occasion just in case certain circumstances call for it. But his control looks great at the moment. He's kept a load of the health from the last time that he took Mega, and because he's one of the medium-sized champions, he holds on to that overstack longer than champions like Slash, Nyx, and Anarchy do.
Indeed. I think also getting the LG, going back to that one, it's almost like a future investment, right? Where when the other champions would come down and he needed the LG, it was a bit risky for him to try and take it. If he gets it now, he eliminates that risk, just has it for a later day. Nice shot.
First damage there by Tox, but unfortunately it's not going to mean much because GaRpY's going to be able to cycle back onto the big items. And so you can pretty much forget that that ever happened. Getting the damage right after the major items is where you really get most importance.
But we were expecting somewhat of a slow start and no shot taken, actually. Toxic wanting to leave that one.
I think likewise for GaRpY, he had gave himself the possibility to back out of that jump so that he didn't have to face up in that fight. Again, damage from Tox, almost getting the next rail, but he doesn't get it. So again, reduced importance for that, and Tox should be able to get back over to Mega.
Now they're going to be, I want to say they're currently content going back and forth, but I know they're not because Toxic was springing that trap near heavy. Minimal damage on the rocket, so it's going to remain somewhat slower for now. But check out the rockets, GaRpY, only one left. And you know Toxic, he's going to be taking control of this rocket location. How can he even get the rockets back?
GaRpY's going to set up over here for the armor. Tox not putting pressure on, and he could try go for a rail over here. Is there for an angle, misses his shots though. GaRpY, now his focus really has to be on getting that rocket ammunition. Mega has even spawned, and GaRpY's going to be able to secure this, so that's a slip up on the item, something that we talked about earlier that GaRpY's been a bit stronger on.
Yeah, I think Toxic, even if it's not necessarily losing time on those items, it's allowing GaRpY to pretty much just go in and get the control quite easily right there. They even had time to go for Mega before we had to get the rocket. There was no Toxic to be seen. But allowing Doomslayer to stack up is always going to be risky business.
I'm, at the moment, favoring GaRpY in this round. But Tox, of course, things can change. The blink of an eye, little bit of splash, but the rail return not going to do a great deal. And again, GaRpY getting all that rocket ammunition. He's going to find the ammo crate as well. He's going to find a Tox straight away, but no time to react.
Here
And look
he
at him
comes.
rushing around. He can't get through with that plasma trail still up, so he's just blocking him in here and eventually is able to break away.
That was a crazy exchange. Actually, almost like GaRpY almost made the read. He's going to go down there. Nice rocket, but it's not going to do a huge amount of damage. It is going to be enough to somewhat force him away from the heavy for now. Look at the health and armor. It's quite even, but no longer actually seeing as that rail did connect Toxic, catching GaRpY off guard.
And Tox didn't actually go for Mega at all, so although GaRpY was really weak just then, again, items have been given up. And finally, we've got some return shots from GaRpY, which he's not been hitting at all so far.
And these return shots, they're going to slowly become more and more prominent as this timer goes down. It's going to be less than 1.5 minutes left on this round. If one frag goes down and GaRpY tries to play this defensive game, it's going to be quite challenging for Toxic.
I'm really curious, actually, how many items have gone in favor of GaRpY as opposed to Tox, because it feels like he's had probably 80% of the control on the map. He needs to look at, again, the weaponry. Rails and rockets to watch out for.
Just fighting on these pickups is just not Toxic's forte in this round. He's completely content allowing GaRpY to take these.
I don't know if that's respect or maybe Tox's focus is on, just keeping positions away from the items and looking for damage, around the rotations. I still feel it's a gamble to play like that more than it is to just try and get, one innocent item.
I think it's a gamble because if GaRpY continues to take the heavy, continues to take the mega, and then he lands a rail that is not returned, it's very free for him to go aggressive. There comes the plasma trail, but unfortunately still can't get the mega, and it goes in favor of GaRpY.
Well, okay, we've still got about 5 seconds left until this armor spawns, so it is dangerous. And if Toxic's timing's been in any shape on point, he should have certainly been putting pressure just then. Missed opportunity after missed opportunity for Tox.
I was almost sure that Toxic might have jumped down there and GaRpY wasn't looking. He might have been ambushed in that situation. 10 seconds left. This is probably going to go into sudden death.
I haven't been looking at the clock at all, and just as you said that, I was like, whoa, that unbelievable amount of time passed.
Oh.
The damage so far from GaRpY. One frag is in it, Ketchup. That's what we're going to see to determine who goes for the semis.
It's going to be Doomslayer versus Slash. Quite a fitting end, really, particularly with Toxic on this Slash pick. Here comes the rockets. He needs one good shot, and he might be in a good situation. The rail comes through. That was a close encounter.
Very, very close for both players just then. GaRpY going to try and position himself so he can get over to the Mega still. Oh, he's missing out on his jumps. Not being punished by Tox at the moment. And he comes close a little bit. The rail is landed though from GaRpY. He hits it! GaRpY is going through to the semi-finals.
That was the... If there was a rail GaRpY needed to land, it was that one right there.
Wow. And because he'd been missing so many shots beforehand, and it was very much about the damage that Tox was dealing and the items that GaRpY was picking up. He finally able to translate that into actually fruition and getting the kill.
I feel like it just came down to that final moment, right, where he was consistently on Mega, he was consistently on Heavy. He just had so much more health and armor all the time.
Yeah.
When the time came to get that fight, every rail he landed from distance was in his favor because he had more health to work with.
Exactly. I think maybe one thing that Tox will reflect on that game is, why wasn't I more present on those items and so on. But I do want to quickly introduce, because we've got Jahar beside us at the moment, who's looking stunned.
That's exactly the word. Oh man, what a series. Geez, that was one of the most stressful I mean, it's becoming a little bit glib to say that now because we've had stressful match after stressful match, and it's just been like pulling teeth with every single one of these frags. And even though we see like a ton of like sudden death, a lot of overtime, like you said, it comes down to like that one rail, that one shot. And time after time, we see like we have the opportunity to see like the missed opportunities that even the players don't see. And it's like, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah,